Dr. David Adams of the Working People's Alliance, WPA, criticizes PPP's approach to cash transfers and calls for feasibility study. In a passionate address, Dr. David Adams, a leading member of the Working People's Alliance, WPA, raised serious concerns about the People's Progressive Party, PPP's recent stance on cash transfers to Guyanese households. He criticized the PPP's approach, which he claims could have adverse effects on families and the social fabric of Guyana. The PPP is now about to destroy families, stated Dr. Adams. He highlighted his concerns that the PPP's policies could turn Guyanese citizens into parasites, referencing remarks from economist Anil Nandlal. He emphasized that the PPP's current position contradicts earlier statements made by the administration, including concerns that cash transfers could undermine families and the overall stability of the country. Dr. Adams argued that cash transfer programs, in various forms, have been successfully implemented in other oil-rich countries, including the United States, where a portion of national wealth is allocated directly to citizens. He noted that the WPA's proposal is for 10% of oil revenue to be distributed among Guyanese households, allowing them to decide how best to spend these funds. The remaining 90% would be used for infrastructural development and other national needs. He stressed the importance of conducting a comprehensive feasibility study before the implementation of such a program. The feasibility study will tell you how much should be given, whether it should be direct or indirect cash transfers, targeted or universal, and whether it should be directed to households or individuals, he said. He emphasized that these decisions should not be made hastily, but based on solid research and analysis. Dr. Adams acknowledged that while the WPA's preference is for household-based transfers to ensure equitable distribution across different ethnic and social groups, they remain open to discussions on the most effective method. He emphasized that the WPA's household-based approach aims to avoid potential accusations of favoritism or discrimination and ensure that all citizens, regardless of background, receive equal support. He also acknowledged the challenges associated with any form of cash transfer, such as how to handle recipients who split their time between Guyana and other countries. He stressed that these complexities further underline the need for thorough planning and analysis. Dr. Adams concluded by calling on the PPP to work with other political parties, including the PNC and AFC, which support individual-based cash transfers, to conduct a feasibility study and identify the best approach for Guyana. Let's do a feasibility study and then tell us what is the best approach. We think the best approach is the household, and I explained why. The WPA remains committed to advocating for policies that prioritize the well-being of all Guyanese citizens, and Dr. Adams reiterated the party's belief in the potential of direct cash transfers to uplift households and strengthen the economy if implemented thoughtfully and equitably.
The PPP is about now to destroy families. The PPP is now about to destroy families. The PPP is now about to turn Guyanese into parasites. So says the Honorable Distinguished Scholar, Economist, Anil Nandlal. Anil, orphan is breaking the code. Orphan is now going to destroy families. And he'll go and Wally, you the Attorney General, and call the police to the charge for destruction of families. These blasted people. That's what the PPP said. Cash transfer will destroy family. Now me say so. Are you hear them there? Are you hear them? Ali didn't go today to the National Assembly and said, my Attorney General once said that cash transfer will destroy families. And cash transfer will turn Guyanese into parasites. And my Vice President once said that cash transfer is technically unsound. But today I stand there in the National Assembly rejecting their thesis. And I, Irfan Ali, am parting company with my Attorney General and my Vice President. No, he got there and announced this thing just like that. You all see the kind of people you all dealing with. You all see the kind of people that you all are dealing with. Some of you all, with your liquor self, just believe these people got you all interested. They don't. They don't. They don't. Now, let's get this straight. Cash transfers in one form or the other is being used in many oil-rich countries around the world, including the capitalist United States. They take a certain amount of money every year and they give to the citizens for them to spend. In our case, WPA is saying take 10%. You can take the 90% and spend it on roads and infrastructure and all the other things that you need to spend it on. But take 10%, divide it up and give the people, let they spend it how they feel like spending it. It's been used all over the world, in most of the oil-rich nations, most of the petrol states. So that's the first thing we want to get out of the way. The second thing is that we can disagree on how it should be implemented. In fact, WPA still believes that you need to still do a feasibility study before this thing is implemented. The feasibility study will tell you how much should be given. It will tell you whether it should be direct cash transfer or indirect cash transfer. It will tell you whether targeted cash transfer or universal cash transfer. It will tell you whether it should be for household or for individuals. We still believe that you need to do a feasibility study. We still believe that you don't implement a policy off the top of your head. I don't know. I haven't listened to the gentleman's speech, so I don't know whether he said whether they do a feasibility study. I don't know. I doubt it, because they're being opportunistic about this. So we can disagree on what form the thing should take. And Vincent Jordan is correct. We disagree on what form. We say household. And the reason we say each household is that we are cognizant that we live in a very divided society. And you want to find the best way for this thing not to become a bone of contention among the different racial groups, ethnic groups, social groups. That is why we go for household, because household, you're not discriminating. Each household is going to get it. And poor people need it more than rich people. So, but rich people who get it, it will be added to their income and they will have to pay tax on it. Poor people who income low, they would not have to pay tax or on most of it. So yes, if you go to household, the rich really don't need it. But when you give it to them, they will pay it back in taxes. Poor people will get it, poor people will have to pay taxes. But our main reason for the household is that we don't want Indian people to say this thing is discriminating in favor of black people, or black people say discriminating in favor of Amerindians, and vice versa and so on. Each household, whether you're African household, Indian household, Amerindian, Portuguese, what, you get it. So that is our thinking behind the household. We feel that it is the most non-discriminatory way to do it. Now, Clive Thomas admit in that clip that we played, it's not easy. Because as he said, people come and go, they migrate, and so on. You know, take somebody like myself. I live part of the year in Guyana. I live part of the year outside of Guyana. Should I get it? I have a home in Guyana. Should I get it? Should I get it as part of my household? I do have a household in Guyana, contrary to what a lot of people just run their mouth. Teacher George said, they got way by your mouth to run. I live part of the year in Guyana. I have a home in Guyana. Should I get it? These are challenges you have with the household thing. So we do agree that we will have to do studies, we will have to do and come up with the best formula. As I said, WPA says each household. The PPP is now saying each household. The PNC saying each individual, the FC saying each individual. Let's do a feasibility study and then tell us what is the best approach. What is the best approach? We think the best approach is the household, and I explain why. Now, let me get into the PPP story further.